got some changes out here. Most of the snow is gone. Let's see what's going on here. A few of my onions that are coming up, I have no idea what any of this stuff is. So I am gonna need some help. This I know is just grass. So I know that I can just pull that up and toss it. And this I know is, look at that. It's not even growing in there. It's just a piece of grass. Anyway, and then I've got a few onions that'll be coming back in the spring. That's a marigold dying there. I have no idea what that back there is. This I think is a cabbage. Some kind of a cabbage that I planted last fall. And these are also cabbage, some red cabbage that I planted last fall. These I have no idea. I think they're just weeds. They're some of my mushrooms that lasted through the winter. I don't really have anything. I think I have a few onions. Yeah, I have a few onions down here. I don't really have anything planted. I might just come out here and sprinkle onion seeds all over the place in here because this is going to be my onion bed come spring. Here today for, because I don't have much going on. Look at this. This is where my celery was last year. And apparently my celery has lived through the winter. Now I know it's only the end of January, but here on Vancouver Island, like this should be it for my snow. I should be done with snow. And although we won't get above 50 for several months yet, I can start doing cool weather crops, I think, like right now. Here's some radishes that I planted last fall. Oh my gosh, look at the size of them. Some daikons, they're huge. I should probably pick them, but I'm gonna wait and see if they'll go to flower. Look at that. It's huge. I could pick that now, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll leave it for a little while. And then look at this here. This is a kohlrabi, I believe. Looks like it's made it through the year. What else do we have? There shouldn't be anything over there. That was peppers and tomatoes and stuff. Oh, look at, here's our garlic. And it's looking good. Sticking out here. I don't think that's anything. Yeah, so a lot of them have survived. So good. What else do we got going on here? Are we seeing anything on this apple tree? Not really, not yet. Grapes, are they showing anything? Nope. No sign of anything yet. Still kind of cool out here. Like we have been above freezing, but as you can see, we still have snow. Here's my other garlic bed. And so I've got a bunch of garlic coming up here. Some of them anyway. It looks like I've got some empty spots that maybe didn't make it. Anyway, like I said, what I'm out here for today is to measure this garden. Today is garden planning day, and it's no better time than the middle of January in the cold of winter to start planning your spring garden. So that's what I'm going to do. And this is the only bed that's new. So I need to measure it, and then I'm going to take you inside and I'm going to show you how I plan my garden. So let's check it out. Yeah, so that is outside. And this is not my house inside. This, of course, is my green screen. And I love this room, though. It's fabulous. Anyway, if I didn't have the green screen, you would just be looking at my mirrors, which would then mirror my messy, messy craft room. So you've seen that often enough that you don't need to be looking at it today. So I will spare you that. Anyway, so here I've got my box of seeds. So I've got some, these are seeds mostly that I saved last year. And I've got them just, I had these spice jars, so I put them in there. Because I didn't have any little little baggies. And then I just keep my seeds in Mylar bags. And on the back, I have when they should be planted. So, and then usually I have them all sorted by when they need to be planted, but right now it's just a mess of stuff. So I need to really go through this and decide what I'm going to use and what I'm not going to use. And I think I have a bunch of seeds that I'm not going to use. Like I have these bush beans. I'm not planting any beans this year. They take up a lot of room, and I find we don't use them. You know, I canned a few. We let a lot go to dry, which took up even more room for not much product. I think that's something that we can, at this point, purchase less expensively. But one thing that I did experiment with last year was planting store-bought beans, and they worked. They came up. So there's something. And by store-bought, I mean store-bought dry beans, right? That were dry already in a bag. But anyway, so planning my garden. I never used to plan my garden because I didn't know that it was something that you should do. But I have discovered, or I did discover last year, when I actually planned my garden, that I had better success with it. And of course, my plans are always flexible. You know, I could never be locked into something that couldn't change. And as for that, we added that whole new bed last year. So, but anyway, so this is, if you watch my channel, you probably know that I'm a little bit of a computer nerd. So I actually do, and let me go ahead and turn this on. So I actually do my garden planning, and I'm just going to go ahead and put this over my face. Actually, I'll just fill up the whole screen with it. So you can, just to give you a quick look at it. But so last year I went through and I mapped out all of my planter boxes that Honey has so gloriously built for me. And then I've got my trellises here. These are where my grapes are. And then I have my garlic already planted here. And then you can see I've put down that I've got some onions coming up here. I've got some red cabbage coming up over here. And I actually have some celery coming up right here. And I have some radish in here, which made it through the year, and some kohlrabi right about here. Okay, so anyway, there's my back garden and what I've got in it so far. This was a little side pot that I had potatoes in last year. And I have a little square. I have two little squares here and here that are 1 foot square planters that I have. And then down over here, this is where my big new bed is. But because I like to have everything on the screen, I actually gave it its own garden area in ground. And I just actually created this one today. But each one of these squares represents a square foot because I don't follow it exactly, of course. I don't really follow anything exactly, but yeah, it's broken up into square feet. And then here's my little purple lilac that already lives there and my white lilac. And then this is the little tiny garden out in the back. And this is, you know, honestly, unless I can find things that are deer resistant, it's basically deer feeder. Now, I didn't feed on my squash last year, but none of us are big fans of squash either. So, you know, there is that. My squash just basically sat outside as a decoration. I do want to grow some pumpkin, but from all my research, deer really like pumpkin. So anyway, so in this file, I also have my front garden. And this tells me all the things that should come up again next year, except I don't have zinnias. Oh, maybe I do have zinnias here. Well, I don't know that they'll come up again because they're an annual, I think. But anyway, there's my front garden, and then here's my side garden. We have our gas tank and my roses, and this is my mint bed, that great big yellow rose that we have. I want to find somewhere this year to plant some sunflowers. So, but anyway, here's you make this once, right? And then it's good. And then, so here was my summer 2021. This is last year, what I grew in the main garden. And I think, do I still have that? Okay, so I have all of this. It's not all 100% accurate, but I kind of know that I grew tomatoes here and I grew tomatoes here and beans and stuff here, and but anyway, this allows me to keep track of what I grew here, so I can come back here and not be growing the same thing, right? So I can tell you a little bit about what I have planned, but here, let me go ahead and make this smaller again. And I can just show you on here. So in this bed here, one of the things that I'm going to do this year for SHEDWARS 2022 and for the growing season is where do I got to go here? Cosmic Pepper Challenge. So Chris and Gina over at Cosmic Cultivators have put out a pepper challenge, and they sent out, there's a bunch of pepper seeds in here, and apparently it's a big variety of pepper seeds, and nobody knows what peppers are actually going to be in there. So I'm really excited. I'm going to plant as many of them as I can fit into this one bed that goes from, it's like 8 feet long and 2.5 feet wide or so. So yeah, I'm going to plant a bunch, at least 16 different plants, if not more, of peppers in here that I'm going to get from here. I'm super excited about that. And then this over here, I do have a couple of things I've got some onions that have started to come up. I planted them in the fall. They didn't really do much in the fall, but they're coming up now. So that's what I wanted to see. And I've got a few in here, but I'm going to plant a bunch more onions. I'm actually going to start a bunch of onions inside. Speaking of onions, I need to watch. Who do I need to watch? Will It Grow grows fabulous onions. And Bunky. Bunky has fabulous onions. So I'm going to watch both of their tricks for starting onions this year, because it was already too late last year, but I already had mine started by the time those videos came out. But anyway, I'm going hoarse from talking so much. I don't get to talk about gardening around here because I just get a blank look from both Mima and Dave. No, not the garden. They don't care. Anyway. So yeah, and then so in here, I'm mostly going to have tomatoes, except for in this center area where I grew tomatoes last year. I did put a nitrogen fixer into this bed over the winter. So I'll dig all that up come spring when I'm ready to plant out there. But this is going to be a tomato bed mostly. I might throw a few other little things in the front of it. And here, of course, are my strawberries. And then I had tomatoes here last year. So I'm actually going to grow some cucumber here. And then this whole bed here is going to be tomatoes as well. I think this bed will be my cherry tomatoes. And this bed is going to be my big tomatoes. And then this whole bed right here is going to be my peppers. And so I haven't quite decided what all I'm going to put here. I'm going to go through my seeds, of course, and find out what I've got and what I can plant. Oh, and I do have rhubarb in this here, and I don't know why it doesn't show there. But anyway, rhubarb there. And so let me just switch this over here to the in-ground. So I don't really know entirely what I'm going to do back here either, but I want to grow some corn and I want to grow some melons and I want to grow some pumpkins. And so I'm going to do a bunch of that in here. And I don't know that I might throw a zucchini plant back here. I did get some green zucchini, and I don't mind a green zucchini. I like it in a salad and in a stir fry. So I might grow that back there because I don't really care if the deer eat it, right? Like if if they don't, then I can eat it. But and if I pick them nice and fresh and young, then maybe I'll beat the deer to them. I don't know. We'll see. They've killed the kale out front. I'm going to plant some collards for them, but I'm not going to plant them back here in my food garden, right? Like I don't want them to be here. I want the deer to be out in the front of the house. So anyway, that's what I have left for planting my garden or for planting my garden for the spring. And yeah, I might get to planting some stuff because last frost day comes pretty early here, usually mid to late February. We're able to get out there. And as you can see outside, I have things that are coming up already, which is going to give me a great start for this fall, which look, I'm already thinking that far ahead. This fall, I think I'm going to do things like plant celery seeds and onion seeds and all that in the late fall, and then they just go dormant and come up in the spring, and that, like, how fabulous is that, right? So we'll see how they do compared to the other methods I'm going to use, because I'm going to try, like I said, Will It Grow and Bunky's Garden. I'm going to try both of their methods, and I will leave their links down below. And the other thing I'm going to try is it's either Joe and Sue or Sue and Grid off Sue Joe and Sue or Sue and Joe off grid living. And they're fellow Canadians, but they live in a lot colder area. But she was doing some starts that she did in, I believe it was milk jugs, and she filled them with dirt and she put the seeds in and then she watered them and she took them outside and she put them outside and she put the lids on. I think she might even have taped them closed. I'm not 100% sure on that. But she just took them and put them outside, and when they were ready, they started to grow. I have to look and see what it was that she started and what I can start that way. And then this month, I'm also going to be starting my celery, because that is one thing. Gail asked me a while back, or the last when I was on her show, how my celery got so big, and I think part of it is that I started it super early, so it had a long time to grow. By the time, when I put it into the ground in mid-May or June, it was already over a foot tall. So I think that really helped my celery get a good head start. Anyway, that's I guess that's my advice for planting your garden. Do it however you want. I know plenty of people who use a pen and a piece of paper or a crayon and whatever, whatever you have handy and whatever is comfortable for you. Use that to plan your garden. Now, I am going to save this, and I'll probably throw it up on the SHEDWARS website, because one thing that it's super handy for is, let me go back over here. I also use it as a weight tracker. So you can see I've already got some tomatoes. But yeah, it's got the built-in formulas, so it tells me what my weekly total is. And then if I come over here to the other side, it gives me my yearly totals in various weight categories: grams, kilograms, and pounds. So So far, 1.27 pounds. I am rocking and rolling it for that southern hemisphere. I tell you what. That's hilarious. But I love it. Anyway, that's going to be it for today. Thanks so much for coming and hanging out. Go Shed Wars! If you haven't, check out the Shed Wars Southern Hemisphere playlist because they're in the middle of their gardening right now, and they probably had plans similar to these when they got started. So anyway, have yourself a fantastic day. I will see you soon. Take care of yourself. Bye now.